Hi, I'm Jay Nocton. I'm the Pediatric Rheumatology Fellowship Training Director here at the Medical College of Wisconsin and Children's Hospital, Wisconsin. And I'm here with four of our section faculty, Doctors Ferpski, Williams, Sabag, and Olson. And we wanted to take a few minutes to introduce ourselves to you, to tell you a little bit about our activities here, and to help you learn more about our section, about the medical college, about Milwaukee, and hopefully it'll help you as you're investigating fellowship training programs. So I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about what I do and my role here, and then we'll ask each of the faculty in turn to do the same. And then I'll be asking each of the faculty a few brief questions about life and working here in Milwaukee and at the medical college and in our section. So I've been here for 26 years, a long time. I'm not the longest tenured person. You'll hear from one of our colleagues later about that. And I spend most of my time taking care of patients, and then my academic and scholarly focus has been in education. So I am in clinic a lot. I'm in clinic 3 days a week. I'm on service 14 weeks out of the year. I spend a lot of time with our fellows, seeing patients together and teaching them. And then when I'm not seeing patients and doing clinical work, I've been heavily involved in education. I'm a former residency program director. I was the residency program director here for 11 years. And now for the past 6 years, I've been the fellowship training program director. In addition to directing the fellowship, I coordinate all of the medical student and resident educational activities in the section and spend a lot of time teaching students and residents as well. I also do musculoskeletal ultrasound, and I train our fellows in ultrasound, and I have a monthly ultrasound clinic. And then I remain involved in clinical trials, and I do some collaborative educational research as well. So that's how I am spending my time here, and that's how I've spent my time over the last 26 years. I'm going to turn to Dr. Ferpski next, and I will ask Dr. Ferpski to just fill us in on his activities here.
Okay, my name's James Ferpski. I have been a pediatric rheumatologist here for 15 years, I believe. I have a little bit of a crossover. I also do immune deficiency here as well. So I bring a little bit of the immune deficiency side to rheumatology. So I kind of do a handful of things. I see patients. I do research on interesting immune deficiency patients with genetic defects in the immune system, which sometimes crosses over to rheumatology. I run a clinical immunology lab, which is a clinical testing and flow cytometry for immune deficiencies. And I help with some translational research here at Children's Hospital as well. So that's a brief overview of me.
Thanks, James. Cal, do you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Cal Williams. I'm the section chief of rheumatology. I'm also the chief scientific officer of the Children's Research Institute. And I have been here for 18 years. My career is really focused mostly now on at least half of my effort is on administration. The Research Institute has about 165 members and about a $50 million a year budget, and it comprises 100,000 square feet. So it covers all of child health research in the pediatric space. So I also have a research laboratory, and my science is focused on regulatory T-cell biology, and I'm very much interested in tolerance, and particularly at mucosal interfaces such as the gut and the lung. My clinical practice is with those other activities is relatively limited. I have a half-day clinic a week, and I do 4 to 6 weeks a year in most years on call. But those are great times. I really enjoy that, and I enjoy interacting with all of the learners at all the various stages. So.
Thanks, Cal. Sarah?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Sarah Sabag. I'm a new faculty here. I've been here for almost 3 full months now. And my primary interest is in juvenile dermatomyositis. I recently completed fellowship at the NIH and Children's National Medical Center. And I spent some extra time after fellowship doing additional training in juvenile dermatomyositis assessments and spending some extra time in the NIH clinical trials there. I'm particularly interested in autoantibodies associated with juvenile dermatomyositis and disease pathogenesis. That probably drives a lot of the disease heterogeneity. Much of my time at MCW and Children's will be spent doing research, which I'm very excited about. And I also do about a half day of clinic a week and take about 6 to 8 weeks of call a year.
Thank you, Sarah. Judy?
Hi, I'm Judy Olson. I'm one of the pediatric rheumatologists. I've been at MCW since 1986 and have seen the department grow from one person to a large department now with several faculty members and a fellowship program. I'm the program director, so I am involved with clinical operations. In addition to seeing patients and working with the residents and fellows and students, I've also been involved with some clinical research and have been the site PI for the CARA network and also the quality network PR Coin, in addition to having involvement with some pharmacology studies. Basically, I think we have a well-rounded department, and I think we all have different niches within the department here.
Thanks, Judy. Dr. Ferpski is on service. One of us had to be on service, and it looks like he got paged away. But hopefully he'll be back to answer some additional questions. But Judy, why don't we start again with you? What would you say you like best about working here at MCW and working at Children's Hospital?
I think one of the things that has always struck me about this program is the collegiality. There is certainly a lot of teamwork and working together with the different departments. It's been a pretty unified environment. And I think a strong focus on making sure that the clinical care that is given to patients goes well. I think it's been a very positive attitude and very collegial.
I agree with you, Judy. You know, I tell people when they ask me why I came here, one of the things that struck me immediately a long time ago when I first came was that sense of collegiality here within our department. And now even within our section, I would say. And I think that's been maintained throughout the whole time that I've been here. Sarah, I know you mentioned you've only been working here for 3 months, but do you want to comment on what you like best so far?
Yeah, so I have a very unique experience of starting a new job during the midst of a COVID-19 pandemic. So it was a little bit unusual, but I can say, kind of mirroring what you are saying, that right from the get-go, the rheumatology team here and all the ancillary staff made me feel welcome and ensured that I had everything I needed to make my transition smooth and to get me started. And it was just a really welcoming environment to come into. And I knew that was going to be the case before I started, and it's what drew me to the program.
Thank you. And Cal, do you want to comment?
Sure. What I really appreciate about our environment, which includes our section, but really the Department of Pediatrics, is that all the missions are valued, whether it's education, research, or clinical care. Everyone is on equal footing, and we value all 3 missions. I would also add to that there's a considerable effort for diversity and inclusion too. So you can call that a 4th mission, if you will. Enhancing that has really been our partnership with the hospital. So the hospital invests significantly in the pediatric enterprise as a whole. And that's been absolutely instrumental to our success across the board. And so that partnership in collaboration with all of the faculty in all the various divisions has really been extraordinary. And it's just been a fun place to work. I've really, really enjoyed it.
Thank you. And James, you're back just in time to answer the question, what do you like best about working here?
being on call.
Sorry, I'm on call and I was answering a call. I think what I like best about working here is it's a very large patient population, and you really see a lot of interesting stuff. And I think that's a real strength of the fellowship too, is what the breadth of patients we see. I think the colleagues are great. I think it's pretty collegial. It's been a good place to work.
So this segues nicely into the next question, which is closely related, and we'll stay with you, James. What would you say the strengths of our fellowship training program are?
I think the strengths are the breadth of things that we offer, from basic science. Cal is very much a basic immune mechanisms of disease scientist. I do a lot of translational research in patients. We have quality specialists with Judy. We pretty much we have clinical trials, so you get a lot of different exposure when you find what you like. I would say one of the strongest things is actually Dr. Nocton, who runs the teaching and has a very structured educational program for the fellows, and I think that's really a very strong part of our program. So I think the education and the breadth of kind of things we see and the different aspects of research really make it a strong program. So.
Thanks, James. Yeah, and I would just add, I think the experience and expertise of all of you, you know, a lot of us have been doing this for a relatively long time, and I think we have, therefore, a tremendous amount collectively to offer to fellows in training. Cal, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I want to second what James said. I agree with all those points, and I want to emphasize that we have one of the very best fellowship directors, and a program is only as good as the director of the program. So, and I'm very proud to say that nationally we have one of the very best fellowship program directors. So.
You know, I didn't suggest that we do this just so you can say that.
You can see me later.
Sarah, would you like?
Yeah, and nobody's mentioned yet that you've received awards in teaching too. So it's not just us saying it; it's other people too. It's been very clear, even just in the few months that I've been here, that a lot goes into organizing and constantly improving our fellowship program, making sure that our fellows get a great education and they are exposed to a wide breadth of patients. So I'm very confident that our fellows are leaving fellowship very well prepared to enter the pediatric rheumatology community.
Thank you. And Judy, do you want to comment?
Sure, similar to everybody. I mean, I agree with all of that. I think one of the things about Milwaukee is it's a large city and a large metro and a catchment area. So we see a lot of very unique things, but it's also something that you see a lot of very bread and butter, both pediatrics and bread and butter pediatric rheumatology. So you get a very nice combination of the common as well as the more unusual. And I think that really enhances the strength of training that a fellow can expect to receive.
Yeah, but being the only children's hospital for really an enormous geographic area helps us in that way, right? So thank you. The last question is about living here and what you like about Milwaukee. So Judy, why don't we stick with you and just talk about what you like best about living here in the city of Milwaukee and Wisconsin in general.
Well, I'm a former Chicagoan, and I have to say when I moved here, the lifestyle was much easier as far as everything from commuting and ease of access to going to things where it's just much more of an accessible community. Milwaukee and the surrounding area is often an area where there's a lot of neighborhoods, and many of the neighborhoods themselves are very strong and supportive for individuals and families. And I think that's certainly something else that has been a very pleasant experience, and have really been enjoyable. Really have enjoyed my time here in the Milwaukee metro area.
Yeah, I agree. Having grown up outside a big East Coast city and having to negotiate a big East Coast city, coming to Milwaukee was like a breath of fresh air, because living here is so easy. When you want to go downtown, you just go downtown. When you want to do something, you don't have to worry about traffic and parking and expenses and all of that. You can really take advantage of the city, which is what I've enjoyed about it since I've been here. Sarah, do you want to comment next?
Yeah, I grew up in Milwaukee, just north and east of the hospital. And ever since I left home, I've been awaiting to come back. My husband's job brought me out to DC for fellowship, and I always knew I wanted to return back to the city. I love Milwaukee. It has a rich culture. There's festivals during the summer. There's great museums here. There's a great food scene, especially by the Riverwalk. There are historic districts to explore, and the green spaces in Milwaukee are amazing. I love to just hang out at the parks and beaches with my husband, daughter, and my dog, and explore the shores of Lake Michigan. And go to the public market on the weekends when it opens again, go to local farmers markets, and go to the zoo. There's just so much to do here. I really love the city.
Thank you. Cal?
Yeah, I grew up in Southern California, Huntington Beach to be exact. So what I really like about Milwaukee is it has everything. It has the water, it has the beaches, it has sports in both winter and summer. So I love to ride my bicycle up and down the state in the summertime, and in the wintertime, cross-country ski and do other winter activities. And it's a very easy place to be, easy place to raise a family, and a nice place to do that too, because I think that it's a community. So it's a medium-sized city, so it's not a large city, which is, everyone has already commented that it's easy to get around. You know, it's the climate is nice too. I didn't expect that, but generally we only have less than 10 days above 90 degrees, although I think this year might be an exception to that. But and so the climate has been very nice. We don't have a lot of humidity, and was a real surprise for me, which is why I've stayed here as long as I have.
Thanks, Cal. And James, do you want to finish up by just telling about what you like about living here?
Yeah, so my wife and I really enjoy Milwaukee quite a bit. Through the years, you occasionally will try to get recruited away, and I think Milwaukee was one of the reasons I never left, was because it's a very fun place. It's under the radar kind of place, but it's a great place to live. I do a lot of med student tours, and I always tell people that I know people who live on a lake out in Pewaukee, which is kind of like a lake district. I know people who live on farms. I know people who live downtown in the nightlife and want to live in a high rise, and I live north of downtown, and it's all 20 minutes from the hospital. So you could really find wherever you like about whatever fits what you like to do, you can do here, and it's convenient. I also like to go up north because there's a lot of wild up north, so I go up there a lot to fish. So I've been very happy here. So
Thanks, James. And thanks to all of you for taking the time to do this. For those of you watching, I hope this helped you to learn more about us as individuals and a little bit more about what it may be like to spend some time with us. If you have any questions, Jay Nocton, that's JNOCTON at mcw.edu, or please feel free to reach out to any of the faculty if there's anything that we can do to help you as you are researching fellowship programs. So thanks again, everybody. Take care. Bye.
thanks.